Imagine this for a moment. It's Sunday night. It's 9 o'clock. You're sitting on the couch. You get your phone. You're half watching the show. You order something online. You track it in real time and you know exactly when it's going to arrive. That experience has trained you to expect speed and clarity and control everywhere else in your life, including dentistry. This is the retailization of patient experiences and their expectations. Patients are often not comparing your practice to the dentist down the street. They're comparing it to Amazon and Uber and every other frictionless experience they've had all week. And when something feels slow or unclear or inconvenient, you're the ones who take the heat. Here's the problem. Many patients now operate with a zero tolerance policy for waiting. If they can't book an appointment through a text link at 9 o'clock Sunday night, then the practice feels outdated. If they don't know their exact out-of-pocket costs the moment they leave the operatory, frustration shows up fast. I hear teams say, patients get angry when we don't have perfect financial answers, even though the insurance itself is intentionally opaque. And they're right, insurance has never designed for transparency, yet practices are being judged as if it were. This creates a leadership squeeze. Patients want retail-level convenience in a healthcare system that was never built to deliver it. Teams feel caught in the middle, and dentists are left wondering, how do we meet these expectations without burning out our people or overpromising what we can't control? Convenience is not the enemy. Confusion is. Patients don't actually demand perfection. They demand confidence. When friction shows up without explanation, trust erodes. When expectations aren't led, patients fill the gaps with frustration. I've said it for years, that leadership is what signals quality when clinical excellence is invisible. The same applies here. Technology can improve access. Automation can reduce delay. But its leadership is what frames the experience so patients feel guided instead of managed. This is where many practices can get it wrong. They try to out-Amazon. Faster responses, more portals, more tools. But speed without context doesn't build trust. It builds entitlement. What patients really want is not instant answers. It's clear leadership about what's possible, what's predictable, and what isn't. Let's talk about money for a moment, because this is where tension peaks. Patients want total transparency in a system designed around partial information. They want certainty where uncertainty is built in. When teams try to deliver certainty, they don't actually have. Stress builds on both sides of the counter. The problem isn't transparency. The problem is pretending that insurance behaves rationally. This is where personal communication matters more than ever. Patients don't need perfect numbers. They need an advocate who explains the process, sets expectations, and stays present if things change. That's the standard of caring at work, not promising control, but offering guidance. Technology should make access easier. It should reduce waiting. It should handle confirmations and after-hours communication. But the moment a patient's question becomes emotional, financial, or uncertain, the experience must slow down, not speed up. Retail systems are built for transaction. Healthcare relationships are built for trust. The practices navigating this well aren't asking, how do we give patients everything they want? They're asking, how do we lead patients through what's realistic? They use technology to remove friction and people to provide reassurance. They don't hide behind systems. They stand in front of them. Here's a mindset shift I want you to consider. Patients aren't demanding retail dentistry. They're demanding clarity in a world that feels chaotic. When teams step in and confidently explain the process, frustration drops. When teams are trained to lead expectations instead of react to anger, morale improves. So, if you're feeling pressure from rising patient demands, don't assume you're failing. You're operating at an intersection of healthcare and retail, and that requires more leadership, not more speed. Don't ask, how do we move faster? Instead, ask, how do we lead better through friction? When patients feel guided, waiting feels shorter. When teams feel supported, pressure feels manageable. And when leadership shows up clearly, technology becomes an asset, not a shield. Thanks for listening.